Hello everyone, good morning, and I think all are safe during this pandemic period. Okay, so directly getting into the topic. So today we are going to see big data, what it is and why it matters. Actually, so many are wondering what the word is big data. Maybe you have heard about the word data, but what is big data? Okay, so today we'll see what it is. Okay, so this is today's topic, so that we are going to see what is big data and what are the sources of it, and technologies, applications, and some of the use cases of big data. So generally all of us know that what do you mean by data? Okay, so just it is an information, it is used for some purpose, that is the data. Okay, so then what is big data? With the name itself we can say that it is big in size. Okay, so not only that one, so the definition of big data is same like your data, but only one thing, the data that is extended so that a single computing system cannot handle that data. Okay, so we have data, we are handling the data with our system. But when it comes to big data, it is growing much so that we cannot use our traditional systems to handle that data. So why I am telling that we cannot handle that? It is also a data, right? But why we are not able to handle those data? Okay. So here are some aspects. When can you say a big data is a big data? Okay. So see here, you can see a diagram where there is some volume, variety, velocity, veracity, like. Okay. So we will see individually what it is. So generally what is happening, the volume of data is getting huger and huger as now we are getting into digitization. Yes. Okay. See what is happening actually from 2009 to 2020, the data has been increased 44 times. Okay. So and also it from 0.8 zettabytes to 35 zettabyte. Okay. So the data is growing that much amount. Okay. So just imagine that the huge chunk of data that is produced with some activities. Okay, so this constant creation of data using social media, business applications, telecom, and various other applications are leading to the formation of this big data. So actually we will be knowing about maybe megabytes to gigabytes. Now it is going into terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, and zettabytes. So now we are having data still 35 zettabytes. Okay. So why, how it is data is growing? What is the reason of this much data growth? And one more thing, the data is growing. No, it is not growing linearly. It is growing exponentially. That is, it's not growing gradually. We cannot judge what is happening yesterday, what happened yesterday, and yesterday maybe 1 GB of data has been generated. But today what is happening is maybe 5 GB or 1 TB. We cannot expect what is the growth of the data. Okay, so this is the reason behind this much volume of data. Okay, see, so what is happening? You have 75 million posts of Instagram per day. Per day you're getting so much. Then Facebook post, mobile devices are in use, so much of IoT devices, credit card transactions, then so much of transactions per day happening, and data are created. Okay, so 90% of the data in this world is created in last 2 years. That too we can tell in last 6 months. Whenever COVID-19 have started, at that time, maybe in this last 7 or 8 months, the data is growing much more. So here I like to say an example of Facebook. Okay, so according to current situation, actually we can say that a person cannot be with a Facebook account. Yes. So many people are everywhere, every person are having a Facebook account and they are using it. Due to this, the world is getting, actually the data growth is exponentially increasing. Okay, people are using Facebook, Instagram, then WhatsApp, so many social media sites. Okay, and also they'll be using for their bank transactions, so many things in their daily routine life. Okay, so this drastic growth of social media is directly impacting the data generation. Okay, the main source of the data is our social media. Okay, so whatever we do in social media, including putting a like, or you're sharing some messages, or you're tweeting, retweeting, or putting comments, whatever it may be. Okay, so everything is stored as a data. Okay, and it is stored as a record, and it is generating so much of data. Okay, so this is one aspect, that is you're getting huge volume of data. So now this is the first aspect, your data is becoming a big data. Okay, So coming to the next aspect, okay, this is variety. Okay, so you see, we are not getting only one type of data. We are handling so much type of data. For example, today morning we get up and we put a message, text message. Okay, so that is text. You are posting some video or posting a photo in your Facebook. Okay, so that is a type of JPG image file. Okay, so the file formats are different. The structure of the data is different. Today you are sending an email, whatever it may be. That is called as variety. So we are handling variety of data. Okay, so it can be a relational data like rows and columns. What we do, store it in a database. Then it can be a text data from web. Whatever we do, it's a text data. It can be a semi-structured data like email is a semi-structured data. Okay, then you have graphical data, then you have streaming data. So many varieties of data has been generated. So again, this comes under complexity of the data. Okay, first one is volume, that is size. The second one is complex. Okay, so coming to the next part, velocity. So what means velocity is the speed of the data generation. Okay, so the data is being generated fast, and also it need to be processed fast. Okay, because if you take late decisions with the data, you may miss the some opportunities. For example, a credit card is swiped. Okay, so what happens when a credit card is swiped? At that second, at that moment, we must have the result back, that whether the card is having that's proper, it is a fraud ID or it is an original ID, whether it has the limit, data, that is credit limit, everything should be checked. Whenever you swipe your Aadhaar card, it should be validated that it is yours Aadhaar card or somebody's, that is whether it is original or fraud. Okay, so that is the speed of the data generation. So these three are the main aspects of our data. Okay, so not only in the velocity, if you take not only your taking credit card or a debit card. For example, you take an aircraft, it is sending the informations whenever it is started and it is going to land in some country. It is continuously sending messages, that is sending its signals, whatever. Okay, so that is the data that is generated very fastly. So here I think you're clear that we see what we saw what is big data and why we say a data is a big data. Coming with the three aspects like volume, when your size of the data is bigger, and there is a variety of data, and the third thing is when the speed of the data is more, we say a data as a big data. Okay. So coming into the thing, the second thing is, first thing we saw what is data, what is big data, and how it will be, why we are saying it is a big data. Okay. Now we have a question, maybe you people have a question from where it comes, who is generating this data, and what will be the type of the data. Okay, so this is the thing we are going to see now. Okay, so generally if you take a data, what will be the type of data is, it comes under three categories, that is structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Okay, so if you take whatever the enterprise data, ERP, CRM, their company organization data that is handled in databases comes under your structured data, because the data will have a definite schema. It will be having some predefined structure. It will have rows and columns, and it will be stored with some schema, some structure. Okay, so that we say it as structured data. So next, coming to unstructured data. So when it has some structure, we say it is a structured data. So the opposite to that is unstructured data. So you have so many things like Twitter. In Twitter, you are putting tweets. In Facebook, we are putting a text. We are putting some text, or we are uploading a photo or a video. We are putting likes. In Instagram, you are uploading photos. Then okay, so through sensors, you are getting so much. I said aircraft sensor is regularly sending messages. Their signals, then through CCTV camera you can get, so like that there are so many things. Okay, so that is called as unstructured data. And also streaming data, that is, for example, we take a CCTV camera is capturing all the videos, that is recording it, and it is producing, it is streaming the data. Okay, so coming to now I think you're clear with structured and unstructured. Then there is one thing called semi-structured data. What we mean by semi-structured data is, it is partially structured and partially unstructured. Okay, so the best example for that we can see is the email. Okay, so why I am telling email is a semi-structured data, Because if you see, you take, you think of the email. In email, you'll be having a to address, a from address, right? Okay, so that is structured. Everyone have to enter it. Okay, okay. Then it comes your text part, your content part. There, anyone can, you can send without a content. You can send in your own thing. You can paste a picture or whatever it may be. That is different. Okay, so that's a combination of structure and unstructured you're getting. Then semi-structured data. Other examples may be your weblogs, your XML files, JSON files. Okay, so everything comes under semi-structured data. Okay, so these are the three things. Okay, then next question is, who are generating this data? From where we are, what's the source of this data? From where we are getting these data? So these are the sources of data. So what I like to say here is, okay, so there are three major categories who are generating this data. The first good example is we, the human. Okay, we, the people, are generating lot of data. So then we say first one, okay, YouTube. Through YouTube, we are uploading so many videos. Through email, we are sending an email. Okay, through social media, we are posting some photos, or we are putting a like, and we are uploading some photos in the Instagram. Okay, likewise, we are sending through WhatsApp, we are sending an image or a message, whatever it may be. This is generated by an individual human. Okay, so these are the examples of human generated data. Next is business generated data. What do you mean by business generated is, as an organization, whatever the CRM or ERP data, okay, it comes under business generated. As a whole, a college is generating some data, a big mart is generating a data, whatever it may be. So that is called as business generated. As a group, an organization is generating a data, the sales data, purchase data, order management, whatever it comes under business generated data. Okay. So finally, it's your machine generated data. So the machine generated data, if you see, it will be, you see there is a security cameras, logistics, industrial automation, there is manufacturing companies where they attach sensors. And if you go agricultural sensors, we'll be using RFID tags in the transportation places. Okay, so these are your CCTV cameras, whatever. For example, we take a smart watches. So it is a machine generating some sort of data. Okay, so these are the examples of machine generated data. You people can think some other also, which can be generated by human, which can be generated by machine or business. Okay, so now we are clear on what it is. That is, what is big data, what are the aspects, where you are getting the data from, who are generating the data, and how the structure will be, how the data will be. Okay, so coming to this, see, there are some predictions of big data in 2020. Okay, so we will have over 6.1 billion smartphone users globally. You think now it is getting actually more and more. Why I'm saying is, maybe before 6 months it can be 6.5 billion, but now you think maybe in every home we are having 2 to 3 mobile phones, smartphones, that too. Okay, but now think everybody are having online classes, school students, even students from LKG, they are having classes. Okay, so they need a mobile phone. So many parents are buying mobile phone for their students, and now a smartphone is getting added in this. Okay, next is, at least 1/3 of all data will pass through cloud. Okay, now everybody are using cloud. We people are in mobile itself, we are using cloud to store our photos or our contacts or our data, everything. Okay, then about 1.7 megabytes of data are created every second. Think 1.7 MB of data every second for every human, not for the whole world, for every human. So think, multiply into the total population, what is happening. Okay, then the IoT market, so it is getting bigger, worldwide revenue is getting bigger. Okay, so these are some of the predictions for 2020 actually had been given. So before this, I like to ask some questions to you. Okay, so only 5 more students to answer your questions. Quick, we'll go on to the next topic. Okay, so many have answered the correct answers. From these questions, I think you are somewhat clear what it is. So volume means it will be the size of the data, and velocity is the speed of the data, how in which speed the data is being processed, and variety is the complexity, that is the different formats of the data. Okay, so coming to the next part, the word digitization. Okay, so we are currently living in the digital era, right? Okay, The first example of digitization, what we know is email. So with the advent of email only, what we can see, we are sending messages for our personal things or professional things. Everywhere we are sending the message. Okay, so with this, the message sharing has been become convenient for all of us, and also in an easy way we can communicate with other people. Okay, so other services, like for example, we are doing mobile banking, we are transferring money from one bank to another bank, and we are booking tickets for maybe for railway tickets or cinema tickets, whatever it may be. We are doing so many things have been done digitally nowadays. Okay, so due to this digitization, what is happening is a lot amount of, that is enormous amount of data has been generated. Okay, so for this, so when the so much of amount of data is getting generated, means we must need some strong framework to handle this data. Okay, so with our normal systems cannot handle this type of enormous data. We need a strong framework to handle this data. So just you think, with just keeping this data, what is the use of? We have lot of data daily, it is being generated, and just if we store that data, what is the use of that data? Okay, so some companies have to use, that is the business people have to use this data, and they have to bring some insights, use meaningful insights from this data. So certainly I like to do is what to do with the big data. We have lot of data, you see. We have live streaming data, we have HTML, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, so much of data we are getting daily through sensors. We are getting so much of data through IoT devices. We are getting data. We people are generating, organization is generating. So with so much of data, what we are going to do? So when we apply some intelligence to this data, then the business people can get profitability from those data. So the main reason of this is the digital shift. We are being across the globe. What is happening? Everybody are shifting to the digital world. We can say the digitization will be accelerating the generation of big data. What is the reason for that? Is two main things. One is the social interaction of the people, the social interactions using social medias. Okay. The second one is the development of or invent of IoT devices. So these are the main two reasons for this big data. Okay. So coming to the next part. Okay, how to process this big data? I said just keeping this data won't work. So what we are going to do? We are going to do something on that data. Okay, so to apply some analytics or apply some knowledge, intelligence on that data, and we are going to get some meaningful or useful insights from the data. Okay, so the existing tools were not designed to handle such large amount of data. Okay, we have large amount of data. Our normal traditional systems cannot, like for example, we have RDBMS, right? So through that we cannot handle, because RDBMS can handle only structured data. That is the first definition itself. I told big data means that is it is growing to the extent that traditional systems cannot handle. Okay, for example, we take RDBMS, it can handle only structured data. But when speaking about big data, we have unstructured data, we have semi-structured data that cannot be handled by our RDBMS. So what is the thing? We need some new inventions for that. Okay. So the big data technologies has evolved to address the issues of your storage, because you get lot volume of data. So there is a storage issue, and also there is a processing issue. Main two things are, so you have to store your data and you have to process your data. Okay. So for that we had a new inventions has been done. Okay. So this is the main thing, Hadoop. Okay, so Hadoop is a technology has been developed. It is about has been developed to process your big data. Okay, so these are some of the tools related with our big data. See, the first one is Hadoop. Then we have Pig, we have HBase, we have Spark, we have Talent, Splunk, Hive, Kafka, Scoop. Then there are so many things. Beyond this, these are some of the tools of big data framework. There are other tools also. Okay, so here actually I am going to tell about you about Hadoop. We are going to take about a single thing, Hadoop. It is a very famous platform, big data platform. So it can process so large amount of data. Okay, so it allows us to do analytics also. We can perform analytics in Hadoop really very fast. Okay, and it is one of the most famous and popular big data platform. Okay, so there are so many tools inside your Hadoop, and also one more thing is Spark. So main Hadoop is used for data storage and processing platform. And if you want to, the data should be processed very speed, that is stream processing. If your data is coming in a very fast speed, if you want to handle the data, we are going into Apache Spark. So these tools are all open source tools. Okay. Coming to the next part, that is applications of big data. So these are some of the everywhere big data is being used. Okay, in the healthcare, your media, banking, securities, insurance, retail industry, transportation, education, manufacturing, energy, everywhere the data is being used. Okay, so the first one I like to tell you is, we'll take an example of healthcare. Okay, so we'll take in healthcare industry, how the data is being used. You think of what is happening in the healthcare industry generally. So people will be going to the doctor or into a hospital. There they will be, the checkups will be taken place, and they will be given some prescriptions, or for example, they will be taking some x-rays or scan reports. And finally, they bring their reports in the form of some papers, okay, some files. They bring it and they show it to the doctor, and they will get some prescriptions and they will go back. So this is the thing mainly happening, okay. But in today's digital world, okay, so every individual, every people, they are going to know about, they are going to track their fitness and health statistics using so many things like smartphones, tablets, smartwatches. Okay, so they are instantly getting the data and it is giving. Okay, so with the increasing popularity of these mobile devices, so many mobile devices are there. Okay, so the healthcare infrastructure is getting higher and higher in the terms of big data. Okay, so what happens is this practice, like practicing of this medicine and public health. Okay, so using mobile devices it's taking some other degrees of healthcare. That is, it is taking to some other place. Healthcare industry is moving to some other place. Like for example, we have so many chronic devices, right? Like cancer or diabetes. Okay, so if the people are being monitored regularly using their digital devices, the doctors can easily access their patients. Okay, so main thing, these apps helps the doctors to have a direct access. Like the people are directly before and all, we have to, the patient have to go to the hospital and they have to meet the doctor. The doctor have to get the information from the patient, what has happened last 1 week, how you are taking your medications, how we are, likewise they have to ask the questions, then they have to monitor their health, they have to check their heart rate, they have to check their BP, so a blood test, so many tests have been taken, then they will come to a conclusion. But nowadays, if you take the smartwatches, they are regularly monitoring your heart rate, your BP level, your sugar level, everything will be monitored and sent digitally to your, maybe your doctor. So he can easily keep track of the patient and he can give suggestions, this is happening. So your sugar level is getting up. So immediate, that is, this is called as immediate action. Okay, that is applying intelligence and giving. Okay. So for we'll see like Apple, it is having Apple Research Kit, and Google is having an app called Google Fit. Okay, so these all applications are used for some research purposes. They can it can be used to track our health record. Okay, so this is happening in the healthcare industry. Okay, we can go for another example like education. Okay, so what is happening in education? Nowadays, if you see, that's main thing, everybody are having online classes, everything are shared digitally. Okay, so maybe the exams or the documents has been shared, everything is done digitally. Okay, we are getting into the traditional lecture method. We are shifting from traditional lecture method to this. So this is digital shift, okay, happening. One more example we can see is driverless cars. Okay, everybody will be knowing it. Google's driverless car, actually, what is it is doing is, this is collecting maybe 1 gigabyte of data per second. This Google driverless cars. Every second it have to monitor it through sensors. It have to collect the every information, right? Okay. So, and also we can go for example, in home, how big data is used. Okay. In home itself, it can be used for security purpose, energy management, health monitoring, everything. Okay, so that the tube lights or fan or refrigerators, your air conditioners, everything can be fixed with a sensor. That is, after some time, maybe in the evening 6 o'clock, if it is the sunlight is going down, the lights can switch on. This is comes under energy management. It can be used for security management, and also some devices can be used to track our health also. So this can be home. So see how much of data is being collected. Here again comes your big data. Okay, likewise you have in agriculture, you have in banking for fraud detection, for giving loans to the people. Everywhere you think, okay, it is being used. And in entertainment, for example, you see nowadays everybody are inside Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hotstar. Okay, so we are watching movies or web series or whatever it may be. We are getting into so many data has been uploaded daily to keep track of their users also. Okay, so finally coming into in government, how this is used. Okay, maybe there's an interesting fact of your use of big data in the field of politics. Okay, so to analyze the different patterns, and it can influence the election results. Okay, there is a company called Cambridge Analytica. It is one such organization which completely depends on the data for their people's behavior, and it plays a major role in the electoral process. Okay, so how it is happening is we people are very active in social media. Okay, so from our that is the whatever we are posting, from that the companies can easily identify what we are thinking. Okay, so according to that, it plays a major role in the election process. So coming into Facebook also, so specifically if we speak about Facebook, whatever daily, if you think, there are number of millions of photos has been posted, millions of likes has been put. Okay, so in the user's perspective, you think in the user's perspective, all this information are just statistics. Okay, so but if you think in the business side, okay, what the Facebook will do with all this big data. Okay, just by keeping this data, nothing is going to happen. It is going to get dried. Nothing is going to happen. Okay, so what kind of strategy the Facebook have decided to handle this data? They are adopting big data technology to handle their data. Okay, then we take our COVID-19 situation, what is happening? This brought advancement in big data analytics. Okay, so if, for example, in some area the people has been affected with the disease, what they will be doing is they will be monitoring that place particularly. So in this place it is getting affected, so we have to take measures, necessary measures on that. Okay, so if we directly go and search, we have to go every place and we have to see whether the COVID, that's corona patients are getting higher. But you think everybody are having mobile smartphones, so many people have switch on their location data. So if he is a COVID-19 patient, then what happens? It has been digitally tracked that we have that disease and we are in this place. Okay, so they can easily alert others about this information. So coming to the last part of our thing, we are going to see some of the use cases of big data. Okay, so this is one thing. The first thing is cognitive IoT system. So what do you mean by cognitive IoT system is, actually this system is used in one university, a big university. Okay, what is happening is they are using this, they are trying to, this college or university is trying to build a system. They are trying to build a system with an intelligent cognitive IoT system. So for what purpose they are building that system is, it helps to minimize the power consumption. Okay, so the university is having so much of power consumption, the students or staffs or people are doing it. Okay, they want to reduce or they want to manage the power consumption. Okay, so what they are doing is they are having so many sensors. You can see some yellow color lights or red color, yellow color, white color here, right? So you can see something. Okay, so these are sensors. You are having some red, everywhere there are sensors fixed. Okay, so the information has been received from these sensors and it is sent to the server or any application, and from that we can take some decisions to reduce the power consumption. Okay, for example, what type of things they can do is whether they have to, by evening automatically the light should get switched off. Okay, so in all the 365 days we cannot do like that, right? Okay, maybe in the during college timing The people will be, during exam time, the people will be sitting outside the hostel rooms. They will be studying, they will be moving here and there. Okay, it can happen. Through semester holidays, maybe some people will be there and some people will not be there. Only partial lights can be used. So there are many things here. There are complex data also collected, simpler data is also collected. Simpler data means maybe like their timetable. What is the timetable of a particular class or a particular block, so that the people will be moving around. Okay, or the data is collected through census. This is complex data where you get unstructured, semi-structured data. Okay, so this is one system where they are using big data for their system. Okay, this is implemented in a big university in India. So coming to the next thing, sentiment analysis. Okay, here also there is the big role of, not only here, if you take for example whatever maybe in previous classes you have heard about predictive analytics or maybe business analytics, wherever you go you need data, right? So that data is big data. With normal data you cannot do anything. With big data only you can analyze your business or whatever it may be. Okay, so this is the when we tell a data is a big data is the things what we have seen. Next, coming to our sentiment analysis. So here is a case study. Actually what is happening is many e-commerce organizations you take, they adopt sentiment analysis for their developing their business, to improve their business or their brand or their reputation, whatever it may be. Okay, so the feedback what the customers give them. Okay, so is used to identify their defects or flaws, whatever it may be, about their product or about their service. Okay, so and they can improve themselves depending upon their comments or feedbacks. Okay, so here main thing is the business people have to know about what their customer think. Okay, so here we take an example. There is an aircraft flying. There a person is traveling. Okay, so what happens is he is not comfortable with the ride. There may be, so the air hostess may be not good, or what the service provided by the air hostess is not good, or maybe the nearby, whoever sitting nearby had done some problem, whatever it may be, but there is some issues in the aircraft. So what he is doing is he is putting a bad review or a bad comment. Okay, so sure this affects the company. Okay, because this service is not good. If you putting a negative comment on this, what happens? Okay, so what the company when they saw a negative comment, immediately what they do is the next time, maybe 1 or 2 days, the customer may return, or this company has tie up with some other company or whatever it may be. Okay, so what they do is next time when they travel, they give some discounts, or they give some food item or like that, compliments. Okay, so that the customer may become happy and he can put a good review or a good comment. Okay, so this is one, that is they want the customer's behavior, they want what the customer is thinking. Main thing is what they want, they're thinking. Okay, this is one use case where big data is being used. So the sentiment analysis actually helps to evaluate the opinion of a product or a brand. Okay, and tell which particular product is. So next, coming to again one sentiment analysis using social media data. Okay, so if you take big data analytics is applied every step of the retail process, wherever it is, whatever steps. Okay, from predicting the popular product to identify which customer is best, who are interested in which products, and what to sell them, what to not to sell them. Every step your big data analytics plays a major role. Okay, so here coming, you see what is happening is before, that is in the traditional approach, when we are before the digitization, what is happening is a new organization is giving a new product. Okay, they are going to launch a product, maybe a washing machine company or a refrigerator company, whatever it may be, that's not a problem, but they are going to launch a new product. Okay, so what they traditionally they will do is they release a product. So after releasing the product in the market, after a period they will get the feedback. Okay, because on this next day they cannot get the feedback. Maybe after next time the customer comes in, or maybe by putting a post or sending an not an email, maximum putting a post, they will ask for a feedback, or they will send a sales representative or a person to review our comments. That is how the product is working. Are you happy with the product? Likewise, they will get the feedback, maybe after 3 months or 2 months. Okay. So what will happen if the product is not working good? Maybe I am a customer, I will reply that no, this is not good, this is the defect happening, whatever it may be, issues, I have so many issues. Okay. So after 2 or 3 months only, the company can get me the review and they can update their product. So in that particular 2 or 3 months, maybe so many people have bought that product. So everybody will be facing the same issue and there is a problem with their product, their business is going to get down. Okay. So if you think what is happening in the current approach. So with the advent of social media, okay. So on the data gathered from reviews from e-commerce websites, so we are getting instant feedbacks about the data. You think you are going and buying a product in Amazon or Flipkart. What is happening? First itself, we are going to read the comments only. What's the review of this product? What are the stars provided for this product? So we are going to see all of this. Okay. So what the customer all the customer thinks about this product. If we have a good review only, we are going to select that product. Okay. So instantly we are getting feedback. Suppose if a customer is posting that it is not a good product, there is some issue. So at that moment itself, what the business people will do is they will update their product or they will do something with their product. So this is these are the some of the use cases of your data. So again, I want to poll some questions to you, ask some questions. Okay. So finally, what I like to tell is, so big data is nothing but whatever data we are producing, we are using or producing, that is big data. Okay. So coming to a conclusion, a data which is very large in size, which has so many different varieties of structure, and the speed of the data is getting very fast. Okay, so this we refer it as a big data. And one more thing is, it cannot be handled using our traditional systems like RDBMS. Okay, so who are the people generating this data? We people generating through social media. So a lot of machines are there to generate data, like sensors. A car is having so much of sensors. It is generating every second. It is generating data. Your CCTV cameras, your smartwatches, every second they are generating data. Okay. Then organizations are also creating so much of data. So this is happening. So finally, with this data, what we are going to do? We are going to the business people are going to get some meaningful insights using these data. Okay, for that only we have seen sentiment analysis or IoT systems, cognitive IoT system. Okay, so what is happening, what the people are doing with this social media data. Finally, I would like to, and one more thing, the technology behind this for processing or storing this big data and processing the data, the two main technologies are Hadoop and Spark. So finally, I like to tell one thing. Everybody, have you everyone noticed that whenever you go into a Google, okay, search engine, and you people are going to search about some product. For example, or not Google search engine, like in Amazon, wherever you go, whichever maybe the e-commerce website, you go inside, you search some product, you buy a product, whatever it is. Okay. Suddenly you go into Facebook. Okay. Inside the Facebook, you can see ads related to your search. Have you all people noticed about that? Okay. So how it is happening? Okay. So that is the people are using. So main thing is we people are not aware of one thing. That is, we are logging inside our email. We are giving our email ID in our mobile phone. We are not at all logging out. Yes, we are not at all exiting from it. It is always 24 hours. Our system has our email ID switched on. Okay. So whatever you do, you enter into your Instagram, you enter into your Facebook, then you search something in your Google search. Whatever you do, everything is monitored and everything is saved as a user log or web stream clicks. Okay, so if for example, last 1 week, what you have searched in your website or what you are doing, sitting in your room with your mobile phone or with your smartphone, that can be easily identified or found out. Okay, so be careful when you are using your social media or your e-commerce, not e-commerce website, whenever you are using social media, because whatever you do, whatever you see, whatever you enter, whatever you type, everything has been registered or saved or monitored by some business people. Okay, whatever you search, if you immediately enter into your Facebook, you will get an ad. So check what is the speed of processing. They are going to understand your thoughts, your likings. Then they are going to put ads that is targeting the audience, targeted audience. Okay. So with this, I'm coming to the end of our topic. And again, I like to put some questions to you. Just I will wait for a minute and we can end the poll fast. Only 60% have voted till now. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Last 5 seconds. Okay, so with this, we are coming to the end of our topic. And if you have any queries, you're welcome.
I think, people have not asked any doubts so far.
Okay. Yes, sir. I didn't get any questions, sir. I got a message that it is clear.
Okay, fine. And then it means that they have you have been a very clear and well understanding definition for all the concepts. Anyhow, now I take the opportunity for thanking you, madam.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, on behalf of the participants, myself, the department, the students, the management, I take immense pleasure in thanking you for joining us today in today's session and enlightening us about big data, what it is and how it matters. And definitely, I'm happy that you have given a very wonderful explanation of the huge data that is available in the society. And as we are also part of sharing a lot of data, and we again get results out of that thing, and we are in a position to judge ourselves when we go for attempting new concepts, right? For if we want to purchase a mobile, or we just look into what have been the shares that have been done by people, what is that they wanted to share, good, bad, ugly, or whatever it is. So we ourselves are contributing, and we ourselves are getting inputs from other people who have already experienced it. But through big data, what we could understand is the data that has been collected is so huge, and again the time taken for processing and the technology behind that for processing and giving real time results is something what to be highly appreciated. Taking all the technologies behind like Hadoop and Spark, a few things that you have mentioned, is something what is quite amazing. And as decision makers in the near future, it would be very useful for our students that how, from where they can get data and how they can make the decision, and they can also know that how and in what time they can actually get the result also. So I would thank you for giving all the insights related to this big data and making this day and this session very wonderful. Thank you, madam, and thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, students. And tomorrow we will meet with a new topic and a new resource person. Thank you all.